rapid so we could reach those targets that we were using, that we were getting. Oh, you're still at work, Glenn? Okay. Holy Moses, guys, you should see the mosquitoes in here. It's pretty bad. Got a jacket on, make sure they don't bite me, and they go under the pant cuffs, and they go up my leg, and they're into my ears. I've got a hoodie on, and I look like a Little Red Riding Hood wearing a blue hoodie, and I just still managed to go through here. Wow. It's unbelievable. But they didn't stick around too much yesterday. As soon as the sun went down, they pretty well went away. So I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. I got a fan running directly on me here at the moment, so hopefully they won't stick around too much. Yeah, the internet's slow here tonight. Oh yeah, last night was perfect. I tell you, Glenn, last night was absolutely gorgeous. Very cold, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It was perfect, and let me tell you that it went well. Even the mosquito went away in this cold, so it was good. But right now they're out with a revenge. Wow. Okay, what I'm going to do is, it looks like I'm missing a part of the image here on top. Let me change the resolution here for a moment, folks. No, well, that's what it is actually, but holy Moses. Hey, those crazy mosquitoes are going absolutely wild in here. Okay, so I don't know, I don't think this is the right resolution here. Actually, yeah, okay, well, I am picking up what I need to see. So it is set up at 720 by 576. So that should work okay. Oh, I know all about work. I'm glad that you're, you're doing what you're doing, Glenn. It's a good thing for sure. It's not a bad thing. Okay, so this is what the sky looks like right now, and I'm going to attempt to go to, I don't know if we could see M57 yet, but I'm going to swing the scope on there for now, so I'll be right back. Yeah, the go-to was successful, I think. You can see the ring nebula. Turn up the gain a little bit. Yeah, you can see the ring with the blue sky here at the moment, so it's pretty good. That's good dynamic range. Never mind the dust bunny that is present on the screen. That's my fault. So I got everything at default here at the moment. Hopefully the go-tos are going to be accurate. And hopefully that I've managed to solve the issue of the go-to of the scope. I think I'm going to need bigger fans in here to dissipate those mosquitoes in here. But we do see N57 here, and not too bad. The blue skies. Yeah, we need a big vacuum for sure. Oh, hi Nino, how are you? Glad to see that you're here. Being attacked by mosquitoes here tonight. It's really, really bad. Quite the long contrails behind the planes, high altitude planes tonight, so I do see some patchy clouds here and there, thin clouds. I don't think I do not think the conditions will be as good as last night, but then again, I think it'll be fine. So we've got half a second exposure or so, yeah. And we've got half a second exposure, 500 milliseconds to view M57 under blue sky conditions. That proves an excellent, an absolute excellent dynamic range. Conversion gain is on high at HCG. There's no live stacking or anything like that. Everything is at default here tonight. Wow, they're vicious. Mosquitoes here are actually biting you right through your jeans. That's how nasty they are and big. Yeah, what's being reproduced on the NSN is not quite as good as what I see live on the screen here tonight, for some reason to another. So, not sure why it's doing this. I'm going to try a different resolution, just for the heck of it. Yeah, this is worse, I think. This is where I had it last night, which was 720 by 576. It was perfect. Turn up the gain a little bit. There we go. I have to go in the house and retrieve some mosquito spray. It's getting pretty nasty. So if you'll excuse me, I'll be back very shortly with a can of off or whatever that I could find, or Jack's oily DEET at 99% pure. I think I'll need that tonight. So I'll be right back, folks. Won't be too long. Yes, deep wood. Glenn, for sure. I think so far that's the best. But anyways, I do have some. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. With a healthy dose of DEET, and should be okay for a little while. We're going to pump up the exposure 2 seconds. There you go. Still blue sky. So it's, we've got a lot of mosquitoes here tonight, folks. Wow. Compared to last night, it's like night and day. There are a few clouds here at the moment, north, and some thin clouds are going by, so it's not too bad. Even if we get some clouds, we're going to continue to do the tests here. We're going to certainly compare both of the cameras, the DS10C and the DS16C. Actually, I've never used the 16C on the 8-inch, only on the 16-inch. So it's going to be interesting to see the results on how sensitive and different adjustment required to see any differences. Now, one thing I'm curious about is the field of view as well. So this is going to be an interesting evening. Last night we lasted till about midnight or so, a little bit after, so it was a really good, productive evening, for sure. And hopefully tonight will be the same. And what I'm hoping for is for the mount to work properly and not quit on me again like last night. I tell you, it can be a very frustrating observing run, and I tell you, it sure puts a damper on an evening of observing. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay tonight. I found some of the issue with the mount, and for some strange reason we had to turn off the daylight savings time. That one is beyond my comprehension, but anyways, I think it'll be okay. Okay, these little guys are vicious. Here we're looking at a 2-second exposure and not bend of M57, so it is a rather small. I'm going to zoom it in. There you go. Although we got blue sky, the sun's still up. I can see it here. We still managed to pick up the blue sky and colors, and also the central stars popping in and out at every 2-second refresh, and makes it quite interesting. Oh, it says on top here, Simon, it says Mallin Tried DS10C on the 8-inch. I'm using the 8-inch VRC8 on the LX850 equatorial mount. And after that assignment, I'm going to switch over to the 16 megapixel. Obviously, we've got two different animals here, and it'll be interesting to see the result. But I do detect the central star quite easily here at the moment at 2-second exposure. Give it a little bit more zoom, and I think it's quite nice. I'm just going to try the live stack very briefly. So we're going to get rid of this graininess in the background. All progressive scan sensors, whether it's a CMOS or a CCD, always have more graininess than an interlace sensor. So we're getting some major improvement there now as it is with 4 stacks. Average, not additive, but just average to get rid of the noise. So now we're getting a much nicer, much more pleasant image. What I wanted to do is try this at f8, so I might still do that before we're going to move on with the 16-inch, the 16 megapixel camera. We'll see actually momentarily, and hopefully we'll be able to examine the different results. Yeah, you should see the keyboard and the laptop computer here with that stuff, Jack. It's all the black has come off. It totally wrecked the plastic on the ThinkPad, the little computer here, and which I don't mind really, as long as it works. That's it's the main thing. No, for me, Thermacell doesn't work at all. It absolutely does not work at all. Not for me, anyways. I know other people use Thermacell, and it's fantastic for them, but unfortunately for me, it's not it. Maybe it works on skinny people, and on bigger people like me, it doesn't work just as good. So, but we've got a really nice smooth image here at the moment. So I'm very glad to see that this stacking is working good. And I'm going to remove the stacking right about now. And we're back to 2 seconds, of course. It's been always 2-second exposure. And we certainly can detect some graininess in the background, especially when we have it zoomed the way it is. I'm going to activate fit the window. And this is the actual field of view that we're getting. We can see the background's getting a little bit darker. It's still 2-second exposure. And I certainly would like to do some of the tests also with the 16 megapixel on the same target. I think it might prove to be interesting. So we're going to do that momentarily. We're just going to wait to get a darker background until the sun's completely away, and right now it's not. It's still fairly bright at my end here, and the sky's still blue. Mind you, we could probably turn up the exposure or the gain. Alright, there we go. We're going to turn up the gain a little bit more and leave the exposure 2 seconds. I don't know if you guys see the difference fairly quick at your end. The internet was very, very slow and jittery earlier, and I'm hoping it's going to improve as we do the broadcast. So, yes, I'm Michael. I'm using the Universe Focal Reducer. That's what I've got on the VRC8. This is a VRC8 tonight, as it says on top of the screen. It is a DS10C with a VRC8 And I did forgot to include focal reducer. Okay, Nino, thank you for confirming it. So we don't have much of a lag tonight, which is very, very good. Right now I'm seeing the mosquito stars on my screen, so that means there must be at least 10 mosquitoes on my screen at the moment. I'm going to change that, Michael. Thank you for reminding me here on top. I hope it's going to fit on top. Okay, there you go. I just updated the information on top with the Mallin. Oh, I made a mistake again. There we go. Hang on. Okay, let me double check the typos here. Okay, this is pretty good. Alright, we're going to change the information on top. There you go. So we've got the DS10C, we've got the BRC8, and the Universe 0.5 focal reducer. So we should be good to go with that. Yeah, this is 2 seconds at the moment, and the gain is set at 56. So earlier it was half a second actually, and even at half a second it was fairly good. And just like we did last night, where I'm more or less repeating last night's broadcast, and one of the reasons is we're going to compare the DS10C with the DS16C on the same target. Now, I've repeated that numerous times yesterday live on the broadcast, is any progressive scan sensors, such as a CMOS or a CCD, no different. They always produce a grainy appearance in the background. This is something that's just the way it is. Compared to an interlace sensor, you don't have that. Interlace sensors are much cleaner, and they are only available in CCD formats, not CMOS. All CMOS are not interlaced. They're progressive scans. So some CCDs are made progressive scan as well. I personally prefer an interlaced. You're going to get more sensitivity out of it and a lot less noise. But there's a way to work around this, and it's called the live stack average mode. So here we're going to stack 4 frames, and if you pay attention to the background, I don't know if you could see it, but we're still at 2 seconds. I'm going to stack 4 frames average, and you're going to see that graininess in the background is going to disappear completely, and everything will be so clean and smooth. And this is why I've been saying to a lot of people, coolers are out. You don't need that anymore, basically, for amateur telescope. And the reason is simple. You do get a very good performance and noise removal with the software, just like we're doing now. In fact, if you look on at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock position, you could detect IC1296 at 2 seconds. This is a faint galaxy. And I could, no, actually it's right on top. Sorry about that. It's the wrong one. It is 1 o'clock position from M57. You could detect a faint IC1296 galaxy at 2 seconds. So this is great dynamic range. The sun's still up a little bit, and as we can see, we got a blue background here at the moment. And this is what we're having now is a stock of 4 images right now of live. It continuously stock all the time, group of 4, and every 2 seconds you see the changes. And now what I'm going to do is remove the stacking average and to show you the graininess I referred to. There you go. And now we're back to standard mode, which is 2 seconds. And we certainly do have a lot more graininess in there. And then we'll flip the window again. And this is the actual field of view. I see Dewey's on. Dewey, I've got your first camera you bought here that I use on my 16-inch. I've never used it on this telescope here, so I'm dying to know what kind of success or failure we're going to get with it. This is the one that has a pixel, what do you call that? Cosmic ray damage to the pixels. And personally, I don't care if it's there because it's on the upper left corner. And we're going to install this camera momentarily. But I just want to wait until the sky gets darker a little bit. If I still detect a blue background here, it's not 100% yet. And tonight we're having massive amount of mosquitoes. I hope they will disappear, because last night they did, and I'm afraid that tonight they may stick around for a little while. I hope not. I really, really hope not. Yes, Dewey, I know what you mean about mono. Mono is hard to beat. I mean, for the serious observer, mono's the way to go. There's no question about it. Mono will give you that extra sensitivity, and it's a lot easier to use a mono than a color camera, that's for sure. Oh, satellite, okay. Slow moving one too. Or space junk, one or the other. Looks more like space junk to me, but who knows? Okay, I think I'm going to pump up the exposure a little bit. From 2 seconds, we're going to jump that up to 5 seconds. So let's see the next refresh. It's coming up just about now. There we go. So this is 5-second exposure, and we certainly can detect a lot of colors in the ring itself. So nice field of view. I do see a very faint 1296 galaxy, but we need to zoom it in to see that. Now we've got more graininess a little bit in there, and one way to do that once again is to stack 4 or 5 frames, no more than that. This stacking is done on average, not additive. So we are going to do that right now, and you will witness the background and the image get a lot smoother. All the noise, the graininess, and everything else will be gone. Except for the warm pixels, of course. The warm pixels are visible. I didn't take a dark frame. I didn't take any of that. This is being used live just the way it is. Everything's at default with the exception of the stacking. Alright, there we go. I'm just waiting to see here if the 2 frames stack already, and we see a major difference in sky background. The graininess is gone, and it's going to get better. So just bear with me a little bit. We're going to just stack that up a little bit, and I'm trying to kill the bugs on my monitor, folks, and I mean there's hundreds of them all over the place in here in the dome. It is a nasty night for that one. Just glad I got some sort of a jacket on with a hoodie to prevent being eaten alive by those mosquitoes. Great Canadian mosquitoes. They're massive, they're big, they're mean, they bite, and they suck the blood out of you real good. Okay, so here we go. We got 4 frames stuck at the moment. We're certainly getting a nice view of the ring nebula, and what I want to do now is activate. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the stacking here for a moment, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this image very, very, very ugly by increasing the sharpness. I'm going to bring that up to 400% sharpness. There you go. And what is that going to do is the graininess is going to be sharpened as well. So we're going to see the worst amount of noise that you have ever seen. But if we stack this information, each frame, on average, watch what's going to happen. I just started the stacking feature. On average, we're not going to gain anything but get rid of noise. And okay, we've got 1 frame taken here at the moment, so just watch the background if your monitor is capable of showing this. I'm watching Night Skies Network now. You don't see it as much as on the software directly. Okay, there we go. We're coming up to 4 stack, and we could actually see some wispy detail in M57, and the central star pops really good. Yesterday we could see 4 stars in the M57. 3 of them were inside of the ring, and the other ones were in the outer halo in the ring themselves. So we really had a good result on that yesterday. Okay, so the background is certainly cleaned up, but we are playing with warm pixels now. So I would need to take a dark field subtraction, which I didn't bother doing whatsoever. And don't forget, we've got this magnified, and this is the actual field of view now. So you're seeing a lot more stars. The sharpness is nice. The sharpness is turned up to 400%. Not 100%, but 400%. Works very similar to APC, but not as aggressive. And while we're stacking 4 images, while we're reducing the amount of noise. So we're still at 5 seconds. So I'm going to shut off the sharpness, and I'm going to shut off the stacking. There we go. So now we're back to a normal 5-second exposure, and the gain is set to 56. Now we can leave this at 5-second exposure, which I find is plenty, and we can turn up the gain. Here we go. By turning up the gain, we're getting a much brighter image. Okay, just a moment, folks. I just got to step outside for a minute. Raided by giant tiger near my place, and it worked. So we captured some of it on her new phone with the night mode, and she's getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. Last night there was barely any, and tonight they're out. The full army is out eating everybody and anything that's alive. So we certainly have really bad mosquitoes, and clouds are coming in actually. So what I would like to do is stop the broadcast for a moment. I'm going to switch camera, and we're going to go on N57. I'm going to leave everything the way it is. We most likely will have to refocus the image, and I'm going to use for reference 5 seconds exposure, and the gain range is not the same on the camera, on both cameras, so I'm going to have to compensate for that. But the idea of the 5 seconds is what we're going to go for. So give me a few moments, folks. Jack, you can stop the recording if you wish, and I'm just going to switch over camera, and most likely I'm probably going to go back on Vega to do a proper focus with the 16C. So I'm going to be right back. I'll leave the broadcast running on. It's just you're not going to see an image. Okay, we now have the 16C on, and we got 5 second exposure on Vega. And by the way, the scope did not go at the right place, so there's something wrong with this. I'm going to write to hammer manufacturers and sledgehammer manufacturers. I would really, really like to be a beta tester for their product, and this mount qualifies for that big time. I could tell the resolution and the quality of the image is far, far better. Yes, I'm going to change that, of course. The quality of image is obviously outstanding. It is a 16 megapixels. We're going to get a much finer resolution, and wow, smaller pixels. Okay, I'm just changing the title on top to make sure that that's what we have. Alright, just bear with me for a moment, folks. Okay. Wow, I tell you, this looks good. I've got ×2 binning, because obviously we're missing a lot of sensitivity. It's not the same class of sensor, but as far as image quality is concerned, oh boy, this is nice. Now the gain only goes up to 20 on this thing, compared to the S10 it goes up to 160, and it's got the conversion gain. This one doesn't, it's fixed. So I'm trying to duplicate pretty well how much gain that we're going to need to increase. The gain's all the way up at the moment, which goes up only to 20. It's not much. I am going to try, however, to change the histogram to 5.5, because I remember on the 16-inch, to get the brightness that we wanted out of the image, we have to bring that down to about 75. So I'm going to set it to 100 at the moment. There we go. Alright. And of course we probably could. Okay, there you go. This is not too bad For 5 seconds, it's very good. Just bear with me for a moment, folks. I should have kept the picture of the S10. That's not a big deal. Alright, so we've got this at 100. It's 5 seconds. Alright, we're going to swing this on. I'm going to lower the exposure down back to 2 seconds. Okay, I want to make sure that we are grabbing the same image size. And for that, I need to turn on KVY and select the area, which is fairly close actually. Okay, now that's good enough. We're quite close to that. Alright, this is good. Okay, let me swing the scope on the M57. I don't know if it's going to make it there. I seriously doubt it. This thing had it, or I had it, one or the other. And just bear with me for a moment. We're going to swing the scope back on M57. Oh, this is miraculous to say the least, but we do have now M57. So obviously, we've got a major difference in sensitivity. However, the image quality of this is pretty hard to beat. And we also have the same thing, which is the background is grainy, which is normal with all CMOS and CCD that are progressive scan. Now, shall we try to start that up? We've got a lot more data running through than the DS10C. So we're going to try the live stack with just a few images. 4 of them, I guess, would be alright. And let's wait and see the result we're going to get here. So bear with me, folks. We're going to see what kind of exposure we're going to get. So we're running a bidding 2 at the moment, so we can get that type of sensitivity that we're looking for from the DS16. It's obvious the DS10 is a winner as far as sensitivity is concerned, but the stacking is working really, really good. Stars are more pinpoint on this guy here. We got smaller pixels, and it is obvious that it's going to be a winner, and the stacking is working perfectly for the DS16C. I don't have a dark frame taken either. This is pretty well on the fly. Let me try something else, folks. This is a big sensor, and it produced a huge image. Do we really need that? Well, the answer is no. Not for doing live viewing. Okay, hang on a sec. There we go. Just bear with me for a sec. I'm going to jump that up to... I'm going to try a quick test here, okay? Alright, hang on a second. not going to need bidding times 2 or times 3. I think times 2 is fine. Let me realign the window for you folks. And I thought the field of view is fairly similar. I'm using also the Universe focal reducer. Right, hang on a sec. Let's bring this to about 80. Alright. And here's something I would like to try here to get the right image. And it will be, so first time I'm trying this out with the 8-inch. I usually use a 16-inch, so I know what we're getting as far as image is concerned. But right now I'm going for the gamma. And we're going to pump up the exposure to, I'm going to have to go to a bit longer exposure, folks. And I think I'm going to engage the trigger mode, and let's see what 10 seconds will give us. Smaller pixel makes a huge difference. One of them is back illuminated, and the DS10C is definitely the combination that we want. The image scale is very similar because the size of sensors of both cameras is quite similar. And that is because the 10 megapixel has 6 million less pixels, but they're larger slightly. Alright, hang on a sec, folks. Stars are a lot more pinpoint here. And this is where the resolution wins when that comes to that. So to get some really nice astrophotography, this would be the winner for sure. I've got the gamma set down to 1.45. We also got the digital binning, which is additive at 2. And I got a histogram also. Alright, let me see here if we could get something going here. Just bear with me, folks. We're going to do some adjustment that is required. We do have thin clouds just lingering around here at the moment, so yeah, I really like increasing that histogram. It is possible that the histogram default for the 16 is not quite right. That's why we got to bring it up to 0 and 75. Nonetheless, just bear with me for a moment, folks. We're going to try to get a decent view. We're going to touch up the gamma a little bit, which is the midpoint in the histogram. And what we're getting is a 10-second image right now. So, okay, this is not too bad at all. Let's see once we magnify that. So we're still playing with the same type of noise, but not as much, I find. We do detect the galaxy on top of 57. Just bear with me, folks. I'm analyzing this really carefully and looking at M57 itself. It rivals, both of them rivals very closely. What I want to do is start the stacking here with the average to lower the graininess or the noise, and we'll do 4 frames only. It's pretty well what we need. Exposure is 10 seconds, so we really have to increase the gain. We really have to increase the histogram and the exposure to get that. But I'm quite surprised to see the field of view is very similar on both. One has definitely the edge on the sharper, smaller stars pattern, if you wish. And I kind of like that. You could tell just by focusing on Vega, for an example, We do detect the central star at the moment. It's faint, but it's there. The colors are being very well detected, so that's not an issue. And I'm just waiting for a bit more stacking here. Let me stop that for a moment. I'm going to increase the amount of stacking, and I think I'm going to increase the exposure. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to pump that up to about 20 seconds. Now this is an 8-inch scope, and we're using the focal reducer to get the field of view and to make the system more sensitive. So here comes 20-second exposure. Okay, definitely this is much brighter, so let's go back to zoom, and here's what we're going to do is start a stacking here on average. There we go. Now 20 seconds is going to take a little bit longer here, a few minutes to have the average stacking going, and then once it's initiated, we'll be able to view very well the effect of removing the background noise and the 1 pixel as well. We've got 2 inputs so far, but none of the outputs yet, because 20 seconds it definitely takes longer, and just going to wait and see here how it's going to perform. Okay, we've got 1 frame that's been registered already, so it will take a bit longer than anticipated, and I tell you, the image is much brighter at 20 seconds. Do we need that? I don't think so. I think going to 15 seconds would have done plenty. Amazing the result we get at 2 seconds with the DS10C and 20 seconds with the 16C. But then again, you've got 2 different sensors. One has larger pixels, the other one smaller pixels, one is back illuminated, so on and so forth. So it's 2 different technology, 2 different companies as far as sensors concerned. Yeah, the gain is set at 20, Michael. The gain is set at 20 simply because it doesn't go any higher than that. Compared to the DS10C, it goes up to 160 for the scale. So you got a heck of a lot more gain out of the DS10C, and that is because of the sensor that's being used, the IMX294. When you activate the gain, the conversion gain to high on the DS10C is combining analog and digital gain and preamps, basically, to increase the sensitivity of the sensor. This camera here does not have that luxury. There's only 2 cameras that we have that has that luxury. One of them is the DS10C. The other one is the AG1.2C. That is why it's a very good performer for the price. Okay, we do have a lot of 1 pixels in there, obviously. It's a bigger sensor, it's going to heat up a little bit more, and I should have taken a dark frame, or dark field. A dark field would have removed all of what you're seeing there at the moment. Let me go back to fit the window. And we got a little bit of angle to the lower right and upper right. Again, the dark field correction would have taken all of that out completely. So preparing the DS16C is crucial. In other words, getting the dark field correction happening along with increasing the gain, preset your histogram, which in this case I have at 0 and 80 at the moment, and the digital binning at 2 gives you the sensitivity that we certainly need. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting test. It's very interesting. Let me take a picture of that. Let me take a snap. Aha! You see this row of 1 pixels. This is the damage that was caused by cosmic ray. Oh, I'm glad I got this. Hang on. Here it is right there, folks. A strong cosmic ray will introduce half pixels, 1 pixels, but if that cosmic ray happens to land on the chip and it's bright enough and it's energized enough, it actually permanently damage the those pixels. And I'm very glad that we have this here at the moment. There we go. Here's a better zoom of it. Okay, so that's what happened when a very energetic cosmic ray hits a CCD or a CMOS. It'll do the same damage directly on the chip. And this one didn't do a direct hit. What I mean by this is it didn't hit one specific pixel. It arrived on an angle, and we could tell at lower 6 o'clock position, it began to hit the surface on an angle, on a quite sharp angle actually, and it eventually did the damage all along the line, and it has damaged all of those pixels with the high energy. And in fact, it's not just 1 pixel, it's a group of pixels. So this was a very energetic cosmic ray. There we go, this is what it looks like. That's quite interesting to look at. So now you know what cosmic ray does. They add half pixels if it's a direct hit. 1 pixel is not related to a cosmic ray. And if the cosmic ray lands on the chip on an angle, a very steep angle, this is what it's going to do. But a cosmic ray that does this kind of damage has to be extremely energetic. It's got to be a bright one, and it's got to be a very powerful one. And unfortunately, it hit on an angle starting at the bottom, and then by the time it went through and did the damage it did and being absorbed at one point, all of these pixels in a row are permanently damaged. And it just doesn't attack 1 pixel because the pixels are so small on this guy on the DS16C. They're 3.8 by 3.8 micron. The cosmic ray is going to hit several pixels, and I'm not talking about in line here. I'm talking about if we zoom in, you're going to see some squares, groups of squares. There you go. You can actually see groups of squares here that where the damage happened. Let me try to go to 400. Here, this is the maximum zoom I could get out of the software. If you look at it very carefully, it hit groups of pixels close by. So this hit really was strong enough. It started at the bottom somewhere here and worked its way all the way. And that happened instantly. And I do mean instantly. Remarkable to be able to pick that up. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. We're going to go back to DS10. I've took a picture. And here, we're back on the live. I'm going to be right back, folks. We're going to grab the camera and stick it back on again. And we're going to be right back here. I'm going to switch over to the picture. Okay, this is the... Okay, this is the live. There we go. Just bear with me for a moment, folks. I'm going to try to go back actually on Vega. Okay, just bear with me for a moment here. We're going to cut back the exposure. Let's stop this and go back to 2 seconds. 2 second exposure. Alright, so I'm going to swing the scope on Vega. Hopefully it'll make it there. And what I'm going to do is switch over camera. I'll be right back, folks.